Hey there everybody, just checking the volume levels on stuff. Aha, my face. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while. Work's been pretty nuts over the last 2.5, 3 months or something like that. So I'm sorry about the kind of infrequency of the videos, but I'm kind of back at it now. I typically line up projects kind of one at a time, like one each month type of thing, and I had two that kind of advanced up and then one that kind of pulled back, and I just got absolutely stomped with work. So, but the nerdery had to kind of take a back seat, but now it's doing much better. So right now I'm kind of in excited mode. I'm actually really stoked about seeing what kind of projects we can do in 2019. 2018 was something where I wanted to prototype a bunch of different projects, but in the end I kind of ultimately figured you had to make the money while the money came in, obviously, and I wanted to make sure that I was kind of set up to do it right in 2019. So going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff. We're going to be doing lots of streaming, so I hope this is a regular thing anyways. I know it adds a little bit more revenue to the channel possibly, which is great. I want to fund a whole bunch of different projects. I want to do a project where we get a getting started box, say for example, and say we did Tau, and we would basically front to back the whole box, top to bottom. We would do painting tutorials on kind of doing that. We could even do streaming or what have you, and then we could talk about the army and do a focus on the army, and then do tactics and things like that. Maybe even play a couple games and see how it turned out. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be pretty sweet for sure. And what else? I kind of want to talk a little bit about what 2018 was all about, kind of for the channel and for me and for the hobby and all of that. And I really want to talk about what I want to do in 2019 as well. So let's start breaking it down. First off, I just want to say a massive thank you to all you guys in there that have kind of subscribed to the channel, and those that watch regularly. It's really nice getting that validation, that feeling that you guys are interested in the content that we're providing, and you're kind of interested in where we're going with the channel and things like that. So first off, super glad. Thank you so much for all that time and effort and energy, and just the time that you guys spend watching. So I'm glad it's of value. It's kind of what I'm all about. I'm that typical insecure guy where you just want to provide value for other people, make sure that they're happy, that you're giving them something cool and useful. And I have a tendency just to cheat when it comes to painting. That's my big thing. I love doing it kind of fast and simple and effective, and banging out an army. I don't have time to spend 40 hours on a model. I don't think a lot of people do. Those that do, the people that go into all the painting competitions and they rock them, massive respect for those guys. But I don't know if that time investment is really in it for me. For me, it's about having a finished piece that I can kind of bring to the table, that I can have fun, a unified kind of army that I can play with and enjoy and all that. So yeah, no, I'm really about just kind of that efficiency of just getting stuff up that's playable, and then you're not stuck with that one army that you spent 6 years building. Where you can actually have like small micro armies of a bunch of different things, play lots of different games, lots of different play styles, and that's kind of what I'm all about. So the feedback that you guys have been giving me over the channel has been great as well. I really appreciate it, and I mean, a lot of people say that YouTube is this steaming pile of is this steaming cesspool of crap that people are really angry, and the anonymity and all that, but I mean, the community is just fantastic. I've been getting nothing but great support, and again, that's all you guys. So again, thank you for that. So 2018 was kind of a big investment for me, where I was trying to get a video to, some weeks were 3, try and balance out the reviews and painting and all of that. And again, near the kind of the end of 2018, I just got stomped with work, but I want to produce more kind of regular everyday kind of content. It'd be nice to do a stream and just kind of hang out with you guys. I mean, I don't get the opportunity to hang out with you guys very much. It's very much a one-way street where I talk and I show what I'm painting, and that's kind of it. So keeping the painting tutorials maybe concise, but maybe spending some time gaming and giggling and laughing like little kids, and just having a really good time. I think that's what I'm looking forward to doing some more in 2019, and I like to bring you guys along for the ride. I spent a lot of time at my my friendly local game store, Imaginary Wars, here in Calgary, and if you ever want to come down. It's great. We've been doing a lot of the Lord of the Rings thing, and I know the channel has been focused primarily on Warhammer and stuff, but we've been doing loads and loads and loads of the Lord of the Rings lately. A little bit of Flames of War. You've probably seen we did a Panzer III review. I've got a couple more reviews to come along for that stuff. And but a good friend of mine, Dave, he's going to be running a 40K campaign, basically, where each of the armies feels like they're kind of involved in the thing. So week to week, he's going to be taking kind of what was done and kind of what our army focuses are, and really kind of, running with it and making these scenarios that are fitted just to us. It's going to be a massive amount of work for him, but hopefully we can bring you some of that amazing content, which will be pretty sharp anyway. What else? That's got me really stoked. I took a little bit of a break from 40K. We had a pretty solid group going on for a while. Life kind of got in the way. I had to switch my regular nights. So kind of just, restart everything as everybody's got all their time off and all that. But playing a lot of the Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth strategy battle game, very good game, like super skirmish, really, really, really solid. And I've been really digging it. It's just a little bit of something different. It's like the Sigmar or the Fantasy Skirmish, only much larger. Great rule system, all that. Very, very good. You can see how Sigmar I knew in 40K now has taken on some of the influences from the work they've done there. Great. But I'm really looking forward to getting back into 40K and a little bit more of a narrative type of play, where you're not necessarily taking the best of everything, but taking what I imagine a science fiction army to take. My Tau are going to be super high-tech, not close assault as in fisticuffs, but close assault as in going to kind of engage with the enemy at, really close quarters, and, whipping around corners and all that. Not a typical gunline Tau. So I want to do a little bit of that stuff. Definitely I want to pursue this idea of the 13th Battalion, these Cadians, these second ed Cadian guys. And I just finished off a Stormtrooper model. Here, let me grab it. And this is my older. Here we are. This is my older kind of second, third edition Stormtroopers, and I'm really looking forward to kind of fleshing these guys out a little bit and having them on the table. So. Yeah, just dumb things like this. I'm going to do a quick painting tutorial, or maybe we'll do a stream or something like that. That all depends on the feedback from you guys as well. So, yeah, I'm really getting stoked about some of the narrative stuff. I'm going to use up the models that I have in terms of the old school Cadian stuff. I got tons and tons. I've just finished off a big pile of my heavy weapons teams. Let me grab those here. And I've got kind of tons of these all laid out, and I'm really impressed with the way they turned out. I love having these old school Cadians kind of on the table, and so I haven't quite done a review, or not a review, but kind of a breakdown of what I've accomplished so far. But I really want to kind of, finish these guys off. Now, the nice thing is I've decided that I've bought X amount of guys, and I'm just going to finish off what I've got. And it's nice because it's finite. There's a limit when you touch down. I'll grab a heavy bolter team as well here just for fun. And I've got, let's see, I've got 4 las cannon teams. I've got 4 autocannon teams, and I've got 5 of the heavy bolters. So working my way through that list was great, like really, really solid. And now that the heavy weapons are all done, and they're all sitting in the cabinet there, but now that the heavy weapons are done, I am done with the heavy weapons, which is fantastic. I've got a little bit of infantry left to go, and they'll be done as well. So the narrative for this, of course, is that these guys, they're often exercises when the Chaos Forces descend upon Cadia. And I really think it's neat how, you can factor in some of these older models into your narrative. Anyway, so they're all maneuvers. They got nothing but T-shirts. The Chaos falls down, and they have this old school kind of armory bunker, just where everything's mothballed. And, they grab whatever they can, shoot. So they got the old las guns, they've got the old flak armor, all of that. They've got the old las cannons and the heavy bolters and all that. And they immediately march back towards, the main cities on Cadia. And what I'm thinking is really neat about that is obviously I can use my older models, which is cool. But it makes them stand out from other armies that are out there. And I think that uniqueness is something that I'm really, really digging, that I'm really, really into. So I intend to finish all these guys off and then build a little bit of narrative streaming basically around that. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at with the older Cadians. I'm really loving the look and feel, and when you're painting them with kind of newer techniques. I mean, let me be honest. My Cadians of old, not the prettiest army in the world. so it was nice to kind of strip them down and then repaint them. I still got to do a tutorial on stripping models. I'm using basically simple green and a toothbrush, but that's one of the things that's on my list to do, kind of in the new year, like hopefully pretty quick. So we can bring some life back to our older models, which is kind of neat. One of the other things I wanted to show you guys as well, as a kind of a new thing that I'm looking at, kind of working my way into, is the tale of these guys as they kind of go through all these different trials and tribulations. One of the other things I wanted to include, and of course with the new kill team stuff, oh man, like it's fantastic. One of the things that I really kind of wanted to bring into it was these Marty Ins. So I got a whole bunch of Marty Ins as well. Now, I like the idea of the Marty Ins themselves as a kind of an army and a world and all this other stuff. But man, wouldn't they be great like the naval men-at-arms? Now, I know I've got some of the guys from the kill team set, and I think that's pretty sweet. But having a bunch of the naval guys come swooping in and, pulling the Cadians, this 13th Battalion, off planet to go fight somewhere else, amazing. Like, just going to be so awesome. So I want to kind of do them in these very naval colors. And again, I've got a fixed amount of these guys, so I think these guys would be great to have and see and just kind of experience in the games. Dropping in a Valkyrie and get on the ship, get out of here, and just having some pretty dramatic kind of scenes and elements. So I've got those Marty Ins there, and then the bulk of my troops are going to be here. So this is basically kind of what I've got everybody sorted into. They're going to be platoons and vets and things like that. But, a couple of the old heavy weapons, a couple of the old missile launcher teams and all of that. And I just ordered for these guys, and I'm really liking the look and feel of this, or like the idea of it. But I've just ordered in, again, and I actually got them... The wife and the daughter went off to our local game store here. Again, that's the Imaginary Wars. And they got me some of the 50 mil bases. And I'm going to use that for my missile teams and my heavy bolter teams for my Marty Ins. And that'll finish this off in terms of kind of... I mean, how you put projects on hold and eventually they come back. You come back to them. Let me put these back away. And eventually you kind of come back to them. But sometimes you just need things like bases. So you order them in and off you go. But I'm really liking the fact that, we're not just basing these few guys on the 60 mil bases. I like using the 50 mil bases for these. It's a heavy weapons team. It's 2 models. It's a bigger, bit of real estate. But I'm really liking using them. It gives you a little bit more movement when you're moving around. But it also just kind of makes sense, I think. You've got... these guys kind of rolling around and setting up and all that. And it's just a more compact way to kind of, have those guys have a presence on the table. So I got my 50 mil bases in, and I am pretty stoked. So I'll be putting the Marty Ins together pretty quickly and finishing those off in terms of, getting the basing done and all that. And then we'll get into full-on painting mode. But for me right now, I'm just going to finish off those Cadians, and I think it should be good. One of the ideas I had for a stream was going to be, I was going to call it maybe something like, and I'll look for ideas from you guys, so you can leave them down in the chat and stuff too, but I was thinking of calling it "Today I'm Going to Finish," and do the usual intro and hey, how's it going, everybody, blah blah blah, and say, and today I'm going to finish X. And everyone's got those pieces that just need to be done. Maybe you've got a few guys left in your unit. Maybe you've got maybe you want to kind of do a special weapon, or paint like 3 commissars for your infantry, or your drone teams, whatever. But we're going to do like a kind of a segment, and I was thinking maybe we could just get together, grab a beverage or whatever, and we'll sip away and do this. Just kind of this connecty, shoot the breeze, paint some stuff, and finish some things off. And everyone's got those stragglers. I mean, I've got the worst hobby ADD. Clearly, I've got a channel based on painting all this different stuff. But going in and just finishing certain elements. So, or just painting like Ripper Swarms, or just painting something like that. And just make it like a regular scheduled thing, and just shoot the breeze and paint. Should be fun anyway. So for me, I think that would be great, and kind of helps me, instead of just focusing on constantly the new models and things like that. We can finish off certain pieces. Now the new painting tutorials would still exist on top of that, but there we go. Anyway, this would be one of the things that I would do, where like today I'm going to finish, and I'm just going to work my way through the remaining Cadians there. So yeah, so that's one of the things. So the Cadians I want to finish off, the old school Cadians, the Marty Ins, and what have you. I also have sitting, as I was kind of looking through my bits box for my kind of putting together all my 3rd ed stormtroopers. One of the things that I wanted to kind of work on as well was these guys. Now, my dream, my passion for the longest time was to get some of the Vestroyan models and do something with them. And I know that people love them and don't love them. And actually, GW just put up on their website the limited kind of buy while you can. Kind of the last chance to buy for the Vestroyans, and that's obviously because they're mostly metal. And I don't know if they want to keep punching them out in resin necessarily. But plastic Vestroyans would be great. There's a couple of great aftermarket sites and stuff that are just amazing. Yeah, Vash 5800 says I love them. Yeah, I think they're awesome. And I think some people, I don't know, man. Like Vash in particular, I think what calls out to me is just that they're just so unique and they're characterful, and you can do real wood on the weapons, and I thought that would be such a cool kind of effect. And so for me, I really want to, it's always been kind of a dream to get that sorted out. Now, with the idea of having the Canadian 13th Battalion, and then having the bugs, the Tyranids, and then the Genestealer cults to kind of tie them all together, I really wanted to just kind of focus and finish down on the Cadian stuff. Now, in reality, I've got a couple heavy weapons teams. A couple of the heavy weapons teams are all done. A couple of the special weapons teams, and I've got like 2 squads of infantry. And I think if it was a situation where we could just jump in, grind down, and finish them off, then I could move on to another project and be completely guilt-free about it. And I know that's not the gamer way to kind of finish off projects, but it'd be kind of a fun thing to do anyway. But yeah, the Vestroyans, there's just so much kind of flair and interest in them. Now, I don't know if you've been following most of my tutorials and stuff, but I love the color red. And I put red on my Chaos guys, my Nurgle guys, all kinds of stuff. So what I was thinking might be an interesting take is to not do red for the Vestroyans, but to do more of the the colors of the stormtroopers, the Militarum Tempestus, that kind of bluish, kind of space wolfy, kind of wintry type colors. And I thought, man, wouldn't that be neat to have a winter world and have them be not in a winter camouflage necessarily, but have them blend in. I thought that would be a really cool kind of way to approach the Vestroyans. So that's where I'm going to be going with that. We'll talk about snow on the bases and do this really cool kind of winter themed type army. So that's on the list for the tutorials as well. So yeah, it's it's going to be a bit of a busy year hobby wise. But I'm looking at, instead of kind of these massive acquisitions of of models, I'm looking at kind of finishing them all down. Other projects that I'm looking forward to in 2019. I've just when we got the new Soul Wars box, oh man, I love the models that are in there. It's I find that pretty darn awesome. And I did a deal with a buddy, and I got the Night Haunt units. Our friends over here, as you can see, obviously they're all assembled and ready to go. I've got the Night Haunt units that I want to paint up, and I've got a method that I kind of want to apply to that. But again, I wanted to approach it as a series. Again, very much like this getting started type of, the getting started box type approach. And I wanted to make sure they're all kind of finished up and painted, and I'm going to do that all as one big, huge piece. But the Sigmarines, the Stormcast guys, I actually split the box with a friend. So what I wanted to do was that I'll just play the Night Hunt guys. I got an undead army, I got zombies and all the other stuff. But I went out and got another set of the Stormcast guys just to have them. I love the detail that we've got on them, and I think they're just a little bit cooler than the vanilla Stormcast that came with it. So here's the set that I went out and bought again, and I've got the the Lord and the Wizard and stuff, but and the Priest. But man, that is hilarious. I just thought it was just the funniest thing. Like, no, you know what? I'm gonna buy them anyway. So I went out and got these as well, and I'm going to be painting them up not in the normal Stormcast colors. The more you read kind of the history and the fluff of the Stormcast, the more you kind of look at it and say, ah, man, these guys are, it's kind of this poetic thing where they're, hunting down all the undead, these ghosts that have been, kind of forced to relive their lives. Meanwhile, they're in the same boat. Like, it's just this cool, crazy, tragic story that these guys are giving up their souls just to keep coming back over and over again. And they're no different than the undead that they're fighting. And, oh man, so I want to do them in kind of this ghostly kind of, not marbly like a statue, but I want them in this ghostly kind of washed out, where they still stand out on the table. I'm going to do greens and all this. But I wanted to kind of connect them to the Night Haunt units very subtly and have them be this undead, basically they're undead warriors themselves. They just happen to be wearing this crazy armor. So, yeah, as a project in 2019, I think that'll be pretty darn sweet. So again, I'm really looking forward to that as a project as well. So you can see I've got these little boards. This is left over from my my drop pods. They had these great, you can see, troop pod frame, but I've got these great boards, so I've kind of organized them all into projects, and I'm just going to keep working my way through them. So yeah, so much to do and kind of play with and see and all that. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun this year, I think. One of the main questions, and again, you guys can leave them, any comments and stuff down in the comments. Funny enough, you leave the comments in the comments. Who knew? One of the things that that I was wanting to ask you guys is, what would you like to see in the channel? I've got a vision for the channel that I think is pretty good. I've just picked up some lighting to do a whole bunch of stuff on the table, or maybe have the guys over and do like a silly painting night or something like that. But I want to know what you guys would like to see. I think one of the ones that came up that I thought was really cool is kind of doing little featurettes on the armies and what I chose and why I chose them and all that. And I think that would be a lot of fun. I want to start definitely broadcasting more games. I think I've been a little, not nervous, but I've been a little, not even hesitant. What's been holding me back a little bit has been the idea that do I cut them down and have them super edited? So, you know, they're smaller segments, or do you want to be around for the humor and the moments and all of that? I've got a zillion little tripods. I was thinking maybe having like, you know, Sergeant Wilkes cam, and we follow Sergeant Wilkes throughout the whole thing, but we'd have all the other trappings of all that. I think there's a lot of battle reports aren't kind of drag on and stuff, but I'd like to do something really cool where we're just having fun. We're not very competitive. We're all about the narrative and stuff. So I just want to get a bit of feedback from you guys on that, and I want to see kind of what you guys are hoping to accomplish in the new year. I think that would be fun for me to kind of see and evolve a little bit more of a stronger community. What else? 2019, we're going to be running another Wargasm event. We were talking about doing it in January, February sometime. It might wait till the spring. I don't know. I've got to figure that out. But I think it would be wonderful to do another event. It gets everybody together. We grab a keg of beer. We rent out our local store, and we just drink beer and roll dice in brotherly love. It's it's great. Like we have a ton of fun on these events anyway. So I like to do that. There's a little bit more Sigmar stuff I kind of want to play with. We've got I'll bring this up here. We've got a bunch of these guys, the Pistoliers, just some of the older models that I really want to you know, play around with, you know, paint some horses and do some stuff with that. I wouldn't mind updating these bases away from the biker bases, but having, you know, just some cool stuff. I've got an old Empire army. I guess it's Free People now, and I'd love to just, you know, get those kind of painted up and see what they look like on the table. You know, I just love this hobby. There's so many cool things. One of the other things that I would like to do is I've got a zillion of these old school gobos from the past, and I'd like to rebase them and do some cool stuff with these and use them for some skirmishy type battles. So I get just focusing on the narrative and having fun. I like to finish off my undead. There's a lot of vampire counts. You can tell these were ones that I inherited. They you know, they need a good trimming anyway. But no, just loads and loads to do in the new year. So really excited about seeing what's going on. Also, another question, one of the things that I want to do, and I'm actually going to try one of the fancy YouTube polls, is I'm wondering about Twitch. Now, I know Twitch is a better streaming platform. I think for a lot of people, it's more kind of the culture that's around Twitch. YouTube tends to be the evergreen content, like you know, video tutorials, how do I do X kind of thing. And so I was thinking about, you know, incorporating some of those elements into maybe Twitch. I've already got the account created, and you know, maybe I'll do announcement videos, things like that, when I'm ready to kind of go up on Twitch, just to try and draw some of the subscribers over to Twitch as well. But it'd be nice to do some streaming, Twitch or YouTube, doesn't matter to me, and then move into maybe editing them down a little bit, and then posting that on YouTube, so it's a little bit more kind of that evergreen content. So that might be the balance that I'm striking, but I want to get your feedback on that as well, and I'll probably do some of the YouTube polling just to kind of see there, because obviously the audience is entirely YouTube right now. So, but other than that, it's yeah, I'm really looking forward to the new year. It's going to be a blast, I think. Anyway, so. I guess I wanted to say first off, hope that 2018 was great for you guys. If it wasn't, I hope 2019 is even better for you guys. I'm very grateful that I've got this outlet and that I can connect with you guys in this way and provide value in this way. So that's awesome for me. As you can see, there's lots I'm looking forward to doing with 2019. Oh, almost forgot, terrain. I want to be doing, if you want to see a bunch of terrain building stuff, the terrain tutor, Mel Bowes. Huge shout out to him. He's fantastic. I'll toss a link in the description afterwards. But he's such an awesome guy out of the UK, and he's got tutorials for everything. And so for me, it'll be less about making, like, this is how you make terrain. Maybe we'll do some, but this will be how I'm, interpreting Mel's stuff and then kind of doing my own types of and bits and pieces. I ended up with a bunch of that blue foam. My wife did these gnomes as kind of Christmas gifts, and they're huge, right? She put foam on the inside, these little discs, but I am left with like piles of this blue foam. So I think it's time to do some terrain for the table, for our roleplay stuff, yeah, so I'll maybe stream some of that as I'm kind of picking away. You can get buzzy with me with the fumes from the wire cutter, which is great. So that's more stuff I'd like to do in 2019, but I hope your 2019 is going to be awesome. There's all kinds of new stuff coming out at an alarming rate almost from G-Dub, and you know, I'm okay with that. I think that's pretty darn solid. There's going to be something for everybody, and it will slow down. I think they're just trying to tidy up, like tie bows kind of on all their armies. You know, the quality doesn't seem to be suffering in terms of balance too much. Yes, you can exploit stuff, but even if you had a perfectly balanced codex or rule book or whatever, if someone's trying to push something, they'll find it. You know, the internet's a big, vast place, and if you want to take away the fun from the person across the table, totally, that's entirely a possibility. But for me, I'm more about the community. I'd rather lose a great game than win a crappy game. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm hoping that your 2019 is awesome, and that you have good games, and that you can connect with good players, because it's sometimes it can be a bit tough to find, but I'm optimistic. So we'll see how that goes anyway. So I want to take this time to say, if Christmas is your thing, Merry Christmas. But if you get time off, that's great. I hope you get some serious hobby time in over the holidays. New Year's is coming up soon, and I hope it's an awesome one for you guys. I'm probably going to check out a little bit till after the new year, but other than that, it should be pretty awesome. So thanks a lot for everything, guys. It's like we're sitting in, like, you know, just about 4,300 subscribers now, and that's super exciting. Like that is super exciting. I'm really enjoying it. So thanks a lot for all the watching, guys. Hope the year's a great one, and yeah, it'll be fun. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye, guys.